In front of the factory gate, workers in white uniforms, hard hats and gloves were waiting. Large packages of meat were gradually lowered by forklifts. Each piece of red meat still had the cold smell of the freezer, giving off a familiar pungent aroma. No one said much, because everyone understood that today's work would last for hours. Workers lined up, one by one, receiving heavy blocks of meat, placing them on the conveyor belt to the processing area. Each step was hurried on the shiny tiled floor. The sound of safety shoes hitting the ground echoed in a steady rhythm like the drumbeat to open a new working day. Inside the factory, a fluorescent lighting system illuminated the vast space. Rows of shiny stainless steel machines lined up in straight rows, running endlessly. The sound of fans, cutting machines, and conveyor belts rolling created a steady industrial soundtrack. Workers brought in meat, placing each giant block of meat on the stainless steel table, where sharp blades waited. The cold air from the air conditioning system keeps the space at a low temperature to keep the meat fresh during processing. The sweat on the workers' foreheads has not yet evaporated with the cold air, leaving only a pair of nimble, precise hands, working together well on the production line. The first blocks of meat are transferred to the inspection area. Workers wearing white blouses and protective glasses stand next to them, using sharp eyes to observe each grain of meat, ensuring there are no signs of damage or abnormalities. Each patch of white fat mixed in the fresh red meat fibers is carefully inspected. Each knife mark left by the slaughterhouse is still clearly visible. When a block of meat meets the standards, it is marked and continues its journey to the preliminary processing line. If there is any doubt, the workers separate it into another tray for later processing. This strict process ensures that only the best parts of meat are put into production. Next, the workers use a sharp blade to separate the meat from the bones. The sound of the knife clanging against the hard bone frame, the light reflected on the blade was bright. Each cut was decisive and precise as if it had been practiced thousands of times. The skilled hands of the craftsman rhythmically removed the tendons and peeled off each piece of excess fat. Each piece of meat, after being filtered, became neat and smooth, ready for the next step. The bones were collected in a separate bin, while the meat was arranged in a stainless steel tray, placed on the conveyor belt, and moved towards the washing area. In the washing area, high-pressure water jets sprayed, washing away every trace of blood. The cold water made the meat firm, bright red, and shiny under the light. Workers stood on both sides, using specialized brushes to gently scrub, ensuring that no impurities remained. The water flowed away everything, flowing to the processing system below. The space was filled with cold steam. The sound of flowing water mixed with the sound of operating machines. The clean, fragrant pieces of meat, after being washed, continued their journey to the sorting area. In the sorting area, workers place meat on an electronic scale. Each block of meat is carefully weighed and clearly displayed on a digital screen. From small blocks of meat for retail packaging, to large blocks of meat that will be transferred to industrial processing. All are accurately classified. The sound of buttons being pressed and the sound of the scale signaling each completion of an operation resounds regularly. Workers mark each block of meat with a code label and attach a QR stamp to ensure traceability. Every step follows a strict process, with no room for error. When the conveyor belt brings the meat into the cutting area, The atmosphere becomes more urgent. The machine blades spin rapidly. The sound of cutting and tearing meat echoes sharply. Workers stand by to monitor, ensuring that the meat is cut to the correct programmed size. Each slice of meat falls onto the tray, stacked on top of each other, neatly as if measured by a ruler. Each slice of meat is soft, pinkish red, and exudes a distinctive aroma. The worker gently adjusts the product by hand and puts it on a clean stainless steel tray, ready to move on to the packaging stage. When the neatly cut meat trays were placed neatly on the conveyor belt, they slowly moved towards the packaging area. The rumbling sound of the vacuum machine mixed with the sound of the plastic being stretched, creating a transparent layer of packaging. Workers quickly arranged the meat into each clean plastic tray, placing it neatly, without any deviation. The white light from the ceiling lights shone down, highlighting the pink-red color of the meat, shining with freshness as if it had just been taken out of the slaughterhouse. The hands were used to moving quickly, their eyes attentively looking at each piece of meat, making sure everything was up to standard. When the vacuum machine was running, the air inside the package was completely removed. The meat was pressed tightly. The surface was flat and beautiful. In the next room, the sound of the printer rang continuously. Labels with detailed information such as production date, expiry date, traceability code, weight, were printed and neatly pasted onto each package of meat. Workers carefully check each label, not allowing even the smallest mistake. Each package of meat is clearly marked, ensuring that when it reaches the customer, all information is transparent. Appear on the dining tables of thousands of families. The cold storage area in the back is where the packaged meat packages are brought in. Workers push carts containing dozens of trays of meat, each step heavy on the cool floor. The cold storage door opens. A stream of white steam flows out, enveloping the air like a thick mist. Inside the warehouse, the temperature is always kept low, causing the workers' breath to turn into white smoke. They quickly arrange the meat trays on high steel shelves, in straight and neat rows. Every move must be quick and precise, because they cannot stay long in the biting cold. When the last tray was placed in place, they quickly pushed the warehouse door back, leaving the automatic humidity and temperature control system to the side. Outside, refrigerated trucks were waiting to receive the goods. Each package was loaded and unloaded by forklift. The workers coordinated well. One person controlled, one person instructed. Each box of meat was placed in the right place. The sounds of metal colliding resounded decisively and rhythmically. In the bright light of noon, work continued regularly. No one allowed themselves to be late, because each shipment had to leave the factory on time, to supermarkets, restaurants, or other processing facilities according to plan. Inside the production area, other workers were still working hard on each new block of meat. Brought in. From the initial inspection, deboning, washing, sorting to slicing, packaging, everything was like a giant machine operating smoothly. They hardly need to say much to each other. Just familiar glances and gestures are enough to coordinate smoothly. The sharp knife cutting into the meat makes a swish sound. The conveyor belt rumbles. The vacuum cleaner screeches, all blending into a bustling industrial soundtrack. In that atmosphere, the workers are still calm, absolutely focused, like patient artisans with their familiar work. There are newcomers who are still clumsy, but after just a few weeks under the guidance of experienced people, they have become proficient. Skilled workers often stand nearby, showing young colleagues how to hold the knife at the right angle, how to move the blade to cut the meat neatly without tearing it. Small instructions but contain a treasure trove of experience. Accumulated over many years. In this place, skills come not only from training, but also from sharing and passing on the profession, making the whole chain always maintain high efficiency and quality. In addition to the fresh meat stage, there is a deeper processing stage for meat parts that need to be marinated, minced or pre-processed. In that area, workers pour meat into giant grinders, the steel blades spinning, turning each piece of meat into a smooth mixture. The distinctive aroma spreads throughout the room. Another group of workers weigh spices, measuring spoonfuls of salt, pepper, garlic, dried herbs, and then pour them in. The mixer operates. The sound of metal friction resounds regularly. Each grain of spice blends into each fiber of meat, creating a perfect mixture. Workers check the smoothness, take samples to ensure everything is mixed according to the formula. When the mixture is complete, it is transferred to the shaping area. The machines that press meatballs, sausages, or flat ground meat into burgers operate continuously. Workers only need to stand and monitor, pick out unqualified products, adjust the conveyor belt, ensuring a continuous flow. The sound of products falling onto the trays clatters. Each round meatball, each long shiny sausage, each burger bite is as regular as if cast from a perfect mold. Everything is clean, tidy, and strictly follows food hygiene and safety procedures. In the next compartment, the automatic packaging machine quickly wraps each product. Workers just need to place the tray in the right position, press a button, and the system takes care of the rest. Labels are printed, barcodes are applied, and expiration dates are clearly written. Some workers do not, the others do a final check, looking closely at every detail, making sure the product is perfect before leaving the line. They are always aware that a small mistake can ruin the reputation of the whole factory. So every step is taken with utmost caution. The atmosphere in the factory is always filled with urgency but also has a familiar rhythm. The workers have been doing this job for years. They almost know by heart every sound, every movement of the machines. Sometimes just hearing a strange noise, they know there is a problem somewhere and immediately find a way to fix it. It is not just manual labor. but also a bond, an understanding to the point of becoming one with the production line. The sound in the production area echoes endlessly. Each beat of machinery, each knife, the sound of running water blends into an industrial harmony. The workers are still working hard, their strong arms pushing heavy blocks of meat, their eyes focused on observing every smallest detail. They not only work to meet the schedule but also work with pride, knowing that this product will go everywhere, to the hands of millions of consumers. Each completed package of meat is another testament to the patience, meticulousness and responsibility of the factory workers. In another area, giant automatic cutting machines are operating at full capacity. The cutting blades rotate at high speed, dividing large blocks of meat into strips. Each slice is neat. Workers stand by without taking their eyes off, ready to adjust when necessary. Sometimes, a slice of meat is crooked. They quickly remove it and replace it with another. Any small mistake can affect the whole batch, so the almost absolute concentration is always evident in each person's eyes. On their faces, fatigue sometimes flashes, but is immediately replaced by determination and professional discipline. Once the meat has been cut to standard, it continues to be transferred to the marinating area. This is where the flavor is breathed into the product. Large stainless steel tanks filled with sauces and spices are waiting. Workers pour each batch of meat in, start the mixer, and the entire block of meat begins to rotate regularly. The sound of the machine hums. The spices gradually penetrate each fiber of the meat. The aroma of garlic, pepper, soy sauce, and herbs wafts throughout the room, dispelling some of the cold, pungent smell of fresh meat. Workers stand by to supervise. Their hands wearing rubber gloves checking for absorption, their sharp eyes looking at each piece of meat to make sure everything meets the requirements. After this stage, the meat is transferred to the shaping area. Modern machines press the meat into different shapes, thin slices for roasting, squares for frozen trays, or balls for convenience products. Workers arrange the trays below. Each product falls onto the tray, clattering neatly. They use rulers to measure the size, weigh the weight. Everything must meet the standards before continuing. Each worker knows that if a substandard product is released, it can affect the reputation of the whole line. So they work not only with their hands, but also with seriousness and professional pride. In the quality control area, other workers sit in front of screens, observing each product package being passed through the X-ray scanner. The modern system allows